Hello and welcome back to the GorillaBiker. And today we're going to be talking about a few different things actually, but one of the main things I want to talk about is the kindness of, I'm going to say strangers, but like I think saying strangers is really a kind of a disservice to some of the people I'm going to discuss, because I've been speaking to them online for years. But definitely the kindness of and we're going to use the term strangers, and then we're also going to talk about an unpleasant story I had recently that kind of comes of being a tall person, which I'm sure plenty of tall people who watch the channel will be able to associate to. But first and foremost, I want to talk about this road, because I recently discovered this and it has actual corners on the way home, which is a treat. There's not many corners, but I mean it works out. So like into this one in third, oh, just look at that. And up into the next one. It is absolutely like mind-bendingly good to have these here. I don't know them that well yet, so I can't really push into them, but I have to say, just that little link up of corners is like, someone had a bit of imagination and they were like, you know what, we can stick a few corners together here, let's do it. And like, absolutely love you guys, thank you, whoever you are. But yeah, to talk about the kindness of strangers, first and foremost, there is a subscriber who has followed the channel for quite a while, is always very active in the comments, which I also massively appreciate. And we're actually gonna, am I allowed to stop here? Will I be shot if I stop here? Restricted. I don't think we're going to stop there. I just wanted to ball in. I'm really not sure about the rules and regulations. Oh yeah, we can stop here. Woo! A little bit of an off-road gravel area. How lovely. We're just going to pull in by the side, because it does say no trespassing, which I'm sure I'd get away with, but I'm also not about that today after work. So first and foremost, what I want to talk about is, you may notice this big chunky boy here. This is actually a Suzuki tall seat. I believe it's OEM. It's extremely comfortable. So this is the seat you could get OEM with the bike for taller riders. And yeah, so Ian, a subscriber for quite a long time, like I said, an active subscriber, he he sent me this seat, but he paid for the shipping himself. He had it previously, he wasn't using it, and he offered to send it to me, which was insanely kind, and I said yes. Now he has not agreed to let me pay for the shipping even, which is one thing, and it's why I'm kind of calling him out in video, because Ian, please let me pay you for shipping at the least. I would appreciate it if you would let me do that, but you know, I also won't bother people, because people have gotten mad at me before for, like, you know, going at them too much about like, hey, let me pay for this. But anyway, either way, Ian, in front of anyone who watches this video, massive thank you. It's actually incredibly comfortable, and anyone who owns a Suzuki v-strom 2015-ish, and you're tall, get the tall seat. I didn't think it would make that much of a difference. This was already up there with my favorite bikes I've ever ridden, let alone owned. But it might end up being my favorite bike that I've owned at some point, because it's very fun. It's like I've said previously, it's not the fastest, it's very fun. But after this seat change, what is that? I don't know. After this seat change, it is super comfortable. It's like what most bikes must be for people of average height. There's like not pressure on my knees. I'm kind of sitting up on it, like my knees are actually just like completely relaxed. It's kind of incredible. So Ian, thank you so much. I really genuinely, I'm blown away that you sent it, to be honest, and I just want to say thank you. So thank you. Thank you. And that's kind person number one, and kind person number two, because I know I've mentioned them before and I know I'll do reviews on them, but like Steve, the owner of Indy Ridge, which I hope you can see my boot right now, You know, I don't talk much about my personal stuff that may or may not be going on the channel because I don't like to. Because this channel is a happy fun place, or it's supposed to be a happy fun place, you know. I want people to watch these videos to watch them to relax, not watch them and be like, wow, that's shit. But you know, sometimes shitty things happen in everyone's lives, and I did have that this year, and it was funny because I was away on the bike, met up with two amigos, and then when I got back, Steve had actually sent me stuff from Indy Ridge, 2 pairs of boots, 2 pairs of gloves, you know, some neckerchiefs, a really nice letter, the commandments, what is it? Not the commandments. The bill of the thing that the Americans did, amendments, what the amendments are, the Constitution, boom, got there, Constitution. He also sent me that, and it was really funny because now at the time I just wasn't in the right headspace to really talk about it properly, but he said I've only highlighted the important bits and highlighted the entire thing. Now, I know Steve doesn't know this, and he probably never will. He probably won't watch this video, but that gave me, like, the whole thing put a smile on my face, made me laugh, and at a time when I actually, like, needed a smile and a laugh. So I don't think, you know, people realize sometimes that the small things that they do that are just kind of awesome. And I'm just mentioning too, you know, there are a lot of people who've been very kind over the years to me while I've been on YouTube, which is why I always say, and I know it's going to sound soppy and bullshitty, but it's true. I don't really care where the channel goes. I don't make videos for money. I don't make videos for anything like that. I probably will always make videos, even if it's like, even if they become more infrequent. I'm sure they would if I had ever had children, which I won't ever have children. You know, bikes are my kids, but you know, it upsets people when I say that, but it's true. But that's kind of where was I going with that one? I don't remember. I don't script these, by the way. That's where it goes. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so the most important thing to me about these videos is that I've made like a hell of a lot of friends through doing them globally. Like, you know, right now I want to fly to New Jersey, hopefully buy a bike, ride it back, meet up with several friends along the way. Notably among those is two friends who aren't, well, one is a biker right now, one plans to be on a biker in New Jersey. There's also the Flinch motovlogs in Kentucky, and of course Hatter JBK in West Virginia. So I would like to do a big loop and not hit all of those guys, I don't want to hit them, meet all of those guys on the way back, and anyone else in between. Actually, also Bry the Biker is definitely somewhere in New Jersey, I believe. I think Atlantic City, maybe. He's near Atlantic City, I think. I can't remember, I do know, but definitely Bry as well, and then do some kind of ride back and meet as many of my friends as I can, because that's one thing I really want to do while I'm in the US is meet the people who seem like genuinely nice people, and all of the ones who I've met in person so far, it's proven out. You know, I don't think people can pretend that much online, to be honest. But then I also want to fly to California, buy a motorcycle and ride it back and meet more people along the way that way. You know, notably among those, Danimal on Instagram. We might get him making videos eventually. Monkey Butt Rides, of course, on YouTube. Grom Trooper on YouTube. There are so many people who I could meet along the way there and you know, talk to and whatnot. And the funny thing is, you know, I think a lot of people talk to bigger YouTubers a lot, name drop bigger YouTubers, but I've talked to plenty, met some. Obviously Shaytree is a gentleman. Well, I just love meeting people my own size who will probably never make a lot of money off it because they've just been genuinely nice. Not saying that obviously bigger YouTubers aren't. Shaytree was very nice when I met him. He was very busy, so I didn't get to talk to him for very long, but he was very, very nice when I met him. And another obviously notable big name, I suppose, is Teapot One, who is an absolute gentleman. Haven't met him in person, but I have done several podcasts with him, and he's just a gent, to be honest. So, you know, there's good people everywhere. Anyway, so that's kind of one thing I want to call out, because I feel like it doesn't get called out enough. It's like, hey, you know what, these people are genuinely nice. And oftentimes we talk about like shitty stuff too much, so I wanted to mention that. Like I said, it was going to be a little bit bullshitty. I do apologize for the little bit of bullshittiness, but it's also true. So you know, sometimes you just gotta say the things that sound stupid, even in your own head, just because they kind of need saying. And that's why I said them. And anyway, onto the moderately unpleasant story. So now, if you don't like hearing about things involving puke or diarrhea, tune out now. Not that there'll be strong mentions of them, but just to warn you. So I recently had to fly back to Ireland for work for like 2 and a bit weeks, so that's why also I missed the video on Tuesday, just because I didn't have time when I got back to kind of get something filmed and edited. I did like a crazy amount of filming and editing to make sure that I had a video or 2 videos every week while I was away, which I'm really proud that I got to do. But yeah, so now I'm playing catch up again. That's kind of the life of a YouTuber, by the way. You're always kind of catching up. But I flew with United Airlines with work. So on the way back, and this, by the way, is something that I don't actually like, because and I'll explain why in a minute as a tall person, but I flew with business class on the way back because that's a company policy thing, and they gave me food poisoning. And I know they gave me food poisoning because I didn't eat anything else that day and very little the day previously. They gave me this meal and it gave me food poisoning. Now that sucks. So United, thanks, but also that sucks. Not really that awesome. But that's not even the thing that sucked most about it. Is, you know, and to segue into a little side story, but people often used to say to me because I've traveled a lot for work in my life. I've flown a lot for work in my life. I absolutely hate airplanes, as much as a technological marvel as they are. I absolutely despise them, and if I never had to sit on one again, it would be too soon. I also really dislike hotels, and again, I've been lucky enough, thanks to work, to be able to stay in fancy hotels and all that, but the fanciest hotel still sucks. I would still rather be in a tent with a couple of friends. Traveling with work on your own is really super shit, and I don't like it. Because you're kind of away from all your stuff, you know, you're away from your friends, your support networks, whatever. It's just not ideal. And it's not something I enjoy. But also, the added horribleness to it as a tall human is I do not fit in standard seats on airplanes, right? So when I fly on my own dime, I literally have to pay for extra legroom. It's not an option, I have to do it. Because my legs don't fit otherwise, which is agony, especially on a transatlantic flight. So that's one thing that sucks already. And also, I'm quite a big human, I'm wide at the shoulders, and that's bones, you know, there's nothing I can do about that. So I also generally have to play, you know, elbow wrestling with whoever's sitting beside me, which, you know, is not their fault and it's not my fault, but it's just not a fun place to be, especially when I don't really like people in general touching me. So people who I don't know on a plane who touch me, whether accidental or not, I really don't like that. So I just generally, all around, absolutely hate planes. Right, so we've covered that. And hotels, they suck. And basically, just to throw it out there, because it's something it's funny, I get comments a lot like, oh, it must be great being tall. It's generally not. You don't fit in most standard cars. Like, I could never buy an MX-5, even though I would love an MX-5 as my car. It would literally be the perfect car. It's everything I would want in a car. But you know, it can't happen. I would love to be able to have like a sports bike that I could ride comfortably, like Monkey Butt does. Can't happen. I'm too tall. Planes, I would love to be able to fit on planes because I love traveling for myself, not for work. I've learned to hate planes because I just don't fit on them. They suck. And all this is winding into why you don't want to be tall, with food poisoning on a plane provided by United. The bathrooms. So, we ate maybe less than an hour after taking off, and you know, 4 hours later, probably 4 hours later, there's about 2 hours left on the flight. I really started to feel unwell. So I was like, right, I better go to the bathroom. And then first came the throwing up. I tried to throw up. Now, in those bathrooms, and I learned this that day, which I didn't know before. I didn't know this previously. It is very difficult to throw up unless you can bend over fully. The vomit actually does get stuck halfway up, and you have to re-swallow it. So I actually feel kind of sick telling this story because I remember this vividly. I cannot fully bend over in airplane bathrooms to vomit, so it got stuck halfway up. I had to go back down, and then I tried to come back up immediately, of course, as vomit does. And anyway, through yoga that I didn't know I could actually perform, I managed to get that bit of vomit up. And the weird thing is, it's like my body learned immediately, like, hey, okay, we can't do this today, because I still I wanted to throw up more. I felt like I really needed to, and my body was like, nope, we tried that, didn't work, not going to do that again. So that was fine. Point number 2. For these reasons, I kind of know I don't fit in airplane bathrooms, so I generally do avoid eating on airplanes, and I definitely avoid the bathroom on airplanes, but I obviously couldn't this time, so I had to go to the toilet again. Now, even sitting down just to use a bathroom, as bathrooms are used for certain things, especially when a food that shouldn't be in you is moving through you at an accelerated pace in liquid form. Yeah, I couldn't fit to do that either. That was awful. And trying to wipe oneself afterwards was another lesson in yoga that I did not know I could accomplish, but I did it. That was also absolutely horrific. Anyway, so that turned into me sitting in my seat as much as possible, just literally watching the hour counter till destination until we got there. We got there to my stopover, and I managed to throw up and use the bathroom properly in the airport, which was probably the greatest relief in my life. I've been sick while traveling before because I have bad luck, but you know, that was definitely up there with top two times. Pretty terrible. Definitely didn't help that I was stuck on the plane. Didn't enjoy that. So yeah, anyway, the moral of the story is, if you're tall, just don't eat on planes. It's not worth the risk, and yeah, you have to bend over fully to throw up. Who knew? Back to why I don't like business class as a tall person. Number one, I discovered that even in business class, the seats are too small for me. They have this hard plastic part that's supposed to probably be all comfortable and snuggly, but my shoulders don't really fit in there, so I'm actually sat kind of sideways the whole flight, which really hurts your back, by the way. And I also can't lie down like where the bed things lie down. Not that I'm complaining, because this is where I'm getting to. Business class is bullshit. I don't know why it's a thing, right? Why not take all that waste of space to make rich people comfortable, or me comfortable in this case, because my work paid for it, and just actually make the rest of the people on the plane comfortable. Like, oh yeah, you won't make like $20,000 more per flight probably, airlines, but you'd actually have people who didn't dread getting on planes, because planes are literally a torture device. Like, how is it that we as humans have taken what is a technological marvel, like, hey, we can literally fly, and ruin it? We have made it awful. It's absolutely terrible. Like, passenger airlines are freaking horrible. I hate them. Yeah, that's kind of all I had to say. So it's kind of like a mix, you know, the kindness that people can show, which again, thanks everyone who has been super kind. I think a lot of people focus on the fact that there's a lot of shitty people in the world, and I don't think we should do that. I think we should focus on the fact that there's also a lot of good people in the world. And the thing is, shitty people can be good too. You know, it's shitty people have the capability to be good people. It's not like you just write everyone off. It's why I really disagree with how polarized everything is over here. No one can have a conversation anymore here. It's not as bad at home in Ireland yet, but it's getting there. So you know, if you disagree with someone, try have a calm conversation with them, instead of everyone being absolute psychopaths all the time. You know, it's an option. Try it out. And yeah, that's kind of all I have to say, really. I just wanted to talk about that, and you know, I'm sure at some point I will have to make an updated sort of review video or something about this bike with this new tall seat. I will be making a commuter review at some point very soon. I think I've done enough mileage on it in and out to work now to do that. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of it. Let me know. Actually, yeah, tell me a story of when someone was kind to you recently, or you were kind to someone. And yeah, if you have any horror airline travel stories, also let me know, because I know there are plenty of them out there. Mine is not even bad in comparison to what some people have went through. So yeah, let me know. Let me know, amigos. And yeah, other than that, if you're tall and you're watching this video, and I know I do have plenty of tall viewers because I'm tall, and you know, that makes sense. Yeah, let me know, would you get a tall seat for your motorcycle, whatever your motorcycle might be. Personally, I will definitely be looking into it for every motorcycle I buy from now on. I always just assumed it wouldn't make that big of a difference, but it has. This one's also like a lot squishier, so it cradles my buttocks a lot more, and it kind of makes the bike flatter, nearly like I have more movement as well. Kind of like, oh, I don't know, bike seats should be flat so you can use them all. Weird how that works. Weird how the idea they came up with way back when, before they went with all these fancy contoured seats, actually works better than like all the fancy contoured expensive seats. Looking at you, BMW S1000 XR, even though that seat actually is quite nice. Ooh, this road is slippy. It hasn't rained in a while, so that's probably why. Anyway, I think that's enough rambling from me today, so I hope you enjoyed the video. If you watched, thank you very much for watching. As always, a very, very special thank you to all of my patrons, and Ian once again, and also Indie Ridge and Steve, the owner of Indie Ridge. And yeah, until next time, thank you all for watching. Adios. Outro crew. Let me know if you are like of a lower altitude, i.e. short, or of a taller altitude, i.e. tall, like me. Do you, like, if you're abnormally short or abnormally tall, do you basically hate the way the world works? You know, that it's only built for everyone in the middle? Because I do. It doesn't make me angry anymore. Some days it does really get me down though. Yeah, just because there's things I'm like, I would love to do that, but I never can. Let me know. And like I said, I'm not really complaining, because I know as a human I have it extremely good in comparison to a lot of other humans. I have a pretty decent life. But yeah, let me know. Bye, outro crew. Always stop. Leg out, stomp.